I'm Don, and this is Mela.
And after converting our 40-foot bus into our dream tiny home on wheels, we're traveling the country and sharing our adventures with you. It's Rainbow Riders!
This week we're up in Estes Park, Mary's Lake Campground. And we're getting to meet some of the neighbors. There's an elk, right there, having a snack.
We'll be showing you around the park.
These campsites in the back are really nice and quiet.
But seeing how Halloween is just around the corner, we couldn't resist taking you along on a tour. I found it. Of one of the creepiest places in America.
This week we're staying at the Estes Park Campground at Mary's Lake. We're back in the bus, having a little cheese and cracker snack. We want to watch a scary movie tonight.
We're doing a little research. We're leaving the bus because when we found out that one of the creepiest hotels in the United States is right here in Estes Park, well, you have to go, right? I don't think it's gonna be too hard to find your way through this hedge maze because it's not quite tall enough yet.
Uh-oh, we're getting lost in the maze.
We're at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. They started building in 1907, opening its doors in 1909. And this right here is F.O. Stanley.
F.O. Stanley invented the photographic plate as well as the Stanley steamer, which was a popular steam engine automobile. He had tuberculosis, wanted to get out of the city, moved up here into Estes Park, thought it might be good for his lungs, and within a few months, he was feeling great. So he built this as a private lodge for his friends and him.
But what this hotel is mostly known for these days is it's the inspiration for the book, The Shining.
Stephen King's book, The Shining, was published in 1977 and quickly adapted into the movie by director Stanley Kubrick in 1980. In 1974, Stephen King and his wife spent one night here in the hotel. It was just about to close, so they were the only ones in the hotel. In the middle of the night, Stephen King saw a hose uncoil and chase his son down the hallway. Luckily, he awoke from that nightmare and was inspired to write the beginning, the middle, and the end of The Shining. And he stayed in the famous room 217, which is right over here. Now, we were making fun of the maze, but we're lost and we can't get out now. So
I know where to go.
Okay, I'm gonna let you lead the way then.
We made it! Now, Stephen King wasn't the first person to experience strange things and strange dreams in room 217. Story has it that there was a cleaning lady in room 217 cleaning up the room. The boiler blew up down below and the building pretty much exploded. She somehow survived. She didn't actually die then. She lived to tell her story. But she's obviously since passed, and people swear that she haunts that room.
It's kind of grown to be known as one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. No one's actually died here. Some people believe that the cave system underneath, which is made of quartz and limestone, was an ancient spiritual place for the Native Americans. And when Stanley built on top of it, it caused this vortex of cosmic energy that the people who died returned here to be in a place that they loved.
The hotel is actually a fully functioning hotel with guests. You can even stay in room 217 if you dare, and the other rooms that are apparently haunted. It's about $300 to $400 a night. But you can also just come and visit for the day like us, go to the restaurants, go to the bar, take a look around, and they have a bunch of tours. So we're gonna go on one. So the tour is copyrighted and they won't let you film anything of the tour, but you're allowed to take photos. Let me share some of the spooky facts that we learned.
Stephen King and his wife were traveling from Boulder. They were trying to go to Grand Lake, which is through the Rocky Mountains, but the snowstorm had packed it in. They weren't going to be able to make it through the passes. So his wife said, let's just stop at the next hotel we can, and they arrived at the Stanley Hotel.
And it was in complete disarray. As if that wasn't even creepy enough, there was nobody here because it was about to close for the season. They couldn't stay open in the winter. In fact, they didn't even have any heat in the hotel until about 1980 something.
Half the hotel staff had already gone home for the season. Stephen King's wife was really tired. She went to bed. He headed downstairs to the bar, which of course was closing up for the season. He tried to give the bartender a little money and the bartender wouldn't take it. The bartender did say, your money's no good here.
Your money's no good here.
When the bartender found out that Stephen King was a horror fiction writer, he started telling him all the haunted stories about the hotel.
So there's the main Stanley Hotel, and then behind me is the lodge. The reason for this building is that back in the day when it was first built, single men and women weren't allowed to sleep under the same roof. So the married couples and the women slept in the main Stanley Hotel, and then this lodge was for the bachelors. It's actually a complete replica of the main hotel. It's just a smaller version of it.
The lodge is known to be haunted by a few ghosts. Stephen King was told by the bartender there's a story about the only blonde female that was allowed in the lodge. Every morning, this cutie would walk through the halls, dropping off newspapers for all the men, and they'd give her a little pat on the behind. This was Cassie, the dog.
Cassie is buried in the Stanley's pet cemetery.
And it's not uncommon now for guests in the lodge to call down and complain to the front desk that somebody's let a dog loose in the hallway in the early morning hours.
Now, they don't normally let people roam around inside the hotel or the lodge unless you're actually a guest there. But we got a little sneak inside. So we're not normally allowed up on the 3rd floor, but the restroom on the 1st floor has no toilet paper, so they sent us up.
Hear how the floor squeaks?
It's very creepy. I found it. The cupboard must have created static electricity because I shot. And no toilet paper seemed to be a theme. In fact, in 2 bathrooms, I saw the toilet paper holder broken off the wall. Is this bad housekeeping? Or is there a bathroom ghost? When this started, obviously people came up here for the beautiful fresh air and the amazing view of the Rockies. But these days, most people are coming here because of Stephen King. The movie The Shining by Stanley Kubrick wasn't actually filmed here. The Stanley Hotel was the inspiration for Stephen King's book. In the book, the hotel's called the Overlook Hotel, and they actually filmed the exterior of the hotel in Oregon, but the inside was a set in England. Stephen King hated the movie. He decided to buy the rights back and make his own miniseries of The Shining, which they did film here. So The Shining pretty much saved this hotel from being in disarray and made it famous. So they would pretty much do whatever he wanted. And he wanted to redecorate the hotel for his miniseries. So while the inside and the outside of the Stanley Hotel don't look anything like it was when Stephen King stayed there or in the movie The Shining, they have restored the Caretaker's cottage. The downstairs, they've tried to make a replica of how the caretaker's house looked when he stayed there, because he had to look after this whole hotel during the winter. Everybody left, and him and his family stayed here to make sure things didn't completely fall apart. And then if you're a big fan of the movie, the funnest part of the tour, upstairs they have a bedroom that's inspired by The Shining. And a complete replica of the bathroom they used in the set, with the creepy woman in the bathtub. It's $10 to park here, but they give you this coin with the creepy twins on. And this apparently gets you $5 off at the restaurant. So let's go.
We had so much fun on the tour. If you're in the area, definitely worth it, especially if you're a fan of the book, the movie, or the miniseries.
How creepy is the tour? Not very creepy, more informational. I think if you really want to get creeped out, stay at night in one of the haunted rooms. You have a few different food options here. You have the fancy hotel restaurant Cascades and the whiskey bar, where they have a lot of different whiskeys and cocktails.
We got the pork belly starter.
It was delicious, but we didn't want to fill up there because we also want to try the other restaurants just a little walk away. So the reason I wanted to come here for dinner is that they have gluten-free fried chicken. Being gluten intolerant, I haven't had fried chicken in a long time, so I am super excited. So we got a whole bunch of fried chicken, some waffles for Don, and then you gotta balance it out with a little bit of salad, right? Oh, so good. So bad and so good. Before we continue, we have something important to share.
We love making these videos and sharing our adventures with you, but in order to keep this channel going, we need your help.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, right there, sitting watching this video. Join the Rabbit Tribe and become one of the supporters that help make this channel possible.
Making these videos the way we do requires camera gear,
hard drives,
backup drives,
web servers,
and our main editing computer just died.
Sadly, the income of YouTube alone doesn't come close to covering all of these expenses.
If you love what we're doing on the channel and want us to keep sharing these adventures,
use the link in the description below to become part of the tribe and immediately unlock bonus videos. Be the first to see our weekly YouTube videos with early releases that are ad-free. Stay in touch with us through real-time updates and community chats. Plus, you're guaranteed a response from us in private messages.
now back to the show.
Now I know a lot of you watching are curious about the campgrounds we stay at because maybe you have a big rig too. So let's show you around.
So obviously, the main reason we're staying in this campground is because the proximity to Rocky Mountain National Park.
We've got a great view from our spot amongst the RVs, but you know, as most RV parks, you're just kind of sardine next to each other.
That's our bus, Allotheria, hanging out with the other big rigs up to 43 feet in length with full hookups. Each site comes with the standard fire pit, picnic table, bear locker. All jokes aside, a good safety measure we appreciate.
Throughout the park, there are restrooms, a coin-operated shower, and a dishwashing station.
This campsite's in the back. of the park here are really nice and quiet. I think they're mainly for tents, but if you had a small vehicle, this would be a great place. There's lots of nice ponderosa pines, and probably the noisiest thing around are the chipmunks.
Having a seizure.
A lot of the tent camping sites in this area have a nice raised flat area for you, so you don't have to mess around trying to figure out where the best place to put a tent would be.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous of these tent camping spots. They're definitely the best spots in the park.
Whether you're tent camping or in a big rig, this park has a lot to offer. What do they call this? Is that bag toss? Bag hole toss?
We've got recycling, major score in my book.
As well as a dump station, a propane fill station. They sell firewood and a camp store with a laundromat.
A mildly heated pool, but the best thing about this campsite has been the elk sightings. They've been just right outside of our bus.
There's an elk right there having a snack.
You got me acting out. You, oh, tenderness is out the window. What you do to me when the cold bites blue is
Hearing them things up now.
oh, it has to
Well,
be
here come all the women.
We have a whole bunch of them.
Patterns on the
little
wall.
Younger.
Promised me roses and a hungry haze, but now there's only madness. Got me feeling dusty. Got me feeling dusty. I can't even whisper and it's hard to see. Don't take my hand and wake me. I got too much to lose.
We loved our adventures in the Rocky Mountains. I feel like I could sit here forever. And we so didn't want to leave.
But in order to sustain our lives of full-time travel, we had some business we had to take care of in South Dakota.
So let's explain to you why we want to be South Dakota residents. You almost wonder, is this legal? But we'll share that with you next time.
Just try not to. Oh, he almost hit me in the sack. Even though they didn't film The Shining at the Stanley Hotel, there was another piece of cinematic history filmed right on the property. There you go.